Okay, you guys know that. I've covered videos on that as well. Now, I've done an announcement video last night on BitDAO, okay? And I've scooped up some tokens, but I've also added another 10K to that pairing. And I'll tell you guys exactly why, and we're going to get to that shortly. But I'm going to tell you guys exactly why I did that. Now, my line of thinking was this, okay? I consider the Ethereum wrap Bitcoin pairing to earn unis one of the most safest liquidity pools out there. It doesn't have nearly as much risks as the more traditional pools you see when you come to this section over here, okay? So, and these are the two that I added liquidity to. That's what shows up under this section. Now, my line of thinking was this. If I could get into a liquidity pool on day one, as soon as that token, lands on Uniswap, chances are there are less liquidity providers, which means more fees coming into me. And that was my line of thinking. So I've added 10K into this liquidity pool, and we're going to learn some very important pieces of information when we get there. But let's first visit the Uni/ETH pairing and see what happened there. Okay, guys, so right now this is pretty much the basic analytics and layout of this pool in regards to my investment. Okay, so right here, your pool tokens 74.91, pooled UNI 1,113. I actually contributed more than that into this pool, and I'm going to tell you guys how that works. Pooled Ethereum 16.4 Ethereums, but I put in about 15 Ethereum. Why do I have an additional 1.4 Ethereum? And the share of this pool is 0.02%. That's what I own. Okay, so let's head on over to here where I already clicked it, and let's come down to this point here. As you can see right here, I just read that to you. 1,113 unis, 16.4 ETHs. I have made $129 in fees. Okay, guys, in fees right there. As you can see right here, which is 12.7 unis and 0.18 Ethereums. How does all of these moving parts work together? Well, let's scroll up here. This is the total in fees, all right? And the liquidity is 18,000 right now. However, they're not taking this into account, the WBTC wrapped ETH, for whatever reason. They consider these two pools as traditional pools. So it's essentially really, about, what was it? Add another 10K, so $28,000 really there, okay? But I want to get to this point over here. Now remember, when you're a liquidity provider, right, to a specific pool like this, you must have half unis, right, or Uniswap tokens, and half Ethereums, okay? So I did 15 Ethereums, okay, and whatever that was worth of unis, okay, and that auto-filled my my box for me. Now, this is the important part. When somebody comes to this pool and say they want to buy unis, guess what? I'm getting a little bit more Ethereums. Hence, I'm a liquidity provider. I got 15 ETHs and I got, a couple thousand worth of unis. So depending on the buy-sell, I'm going to give up one or the other. And that's how you kind of make your profits there, okay? A lot of people want to look at this only, the total fees earned, but that doesn't tell the full story, okay? And what do I mean by that? Now, if I initially invested $10,000 into this liquidity pool, why is it that I have 11,353? Well, that could be due to the fact of Uni going up in value after I contributed liquidity, or Ethereum going up in value. So now my overall liquidity is not 10K anymore. It's 11,000. All right, and what I have made in fees is right here. That's very, 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 very important to understand, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't understand that, leave a comment in the comment section below. Okay, this video could get very long. Now, here is where I don't want to say that I made mistakes, but let's back on up over here now and check these guys out on that manage tab. Okay, so this is bid/ETH. Okay, guys, I put $10,000 in here. Okay, so right now my pooled ETH is 10.7. I've actually contributed 15 damn Ethereums, and it's 10.7. Last night when I did it, my pool share was actually over 1%. It's 0.85% now. And that tells me that more people are adding liquidity to this pool, which obviously means my share is going to decrease and, transaction fees are going to more people, right? And that was my line of thinking. That was my strategy. I was like, look, if I could get into this you know, this pool as a provider, liquidity provider on day 1, chances are, you know, on day 5 or day 2, day 3, there's not going to be that much other providers for more fees to be shared among a larger group of people. Okay, so let's click on here, which we already have that there. All right, guys. So why is my total liquidity at 7,480? A lot of people might say, hey man, I'm making 142 bucks on the fees in a matter of like whatever it was. It was like not 3 hours, but like it was about maybe 8 hours ago. Okay, when I did that announcement video. People are just looking at this, but you need to take this into consideration too if you want to cash out. So say you're like, all right, well, I want this money here, this 142 bucks. If you cash out, you're actually doing it at a loss in terms of the token valuation, okay? And what do I mean by that? Again, I actually got it when it went live on Uniswap at about, was it 3.5 cents? Right now, BDAO is nowhere near that. It's about 2 cents right now, okay? Just under 2 cents. So that's where are we? This comes into consideration. This is pretty much saying the overall value of your liquidity is no longer 10K. Why? Well, here's why. It's not 3.5 cents anymore. It's just under 2 cents. So that's the valuation of my overall liquidity. However, I did make 142 bucks off of the fees, right? Because there's not that many liquidity providers there, and you know, people were selling their BDAOs, and that's why I have more BDAOs than I did when I started this, you know, adding liquidity to this pool. Why? Because again, I am a liquidity provider. I have Ethereum and BDAOs, depending on if you want to buy and sell, right? The person, I'm talking about a trader. Depending on if you want to buy BDAOs or sell BDAOs, that's going to dictate as a liquidity provider how much I actually earn in terms of, you know, these two different cryptocurrencies, all right? Now, to give you guys a better understanding, or, you know, to give you a bit more perspective on this, let's take a look at my text ID when I added liquidity, which I have at the top. Okay, so again, I deposited 10,000 here, and I'm going to try to explain to you guys why I have more BDAOs than I did when I actually started this. Okay, this process. So as you can see right here, added 143,000 BDAOs, right, and 15 Ethereums. Okay, now let's head on back over to our analytical page here. Right? So I have 206,816 BDAOs. Why? Well, obviously, if the price is going down, that usually means that people are selling. And if I am a liquidity provider, I am providing them Ethereum for their BDAOs. So that's why now my, you know, this seesawness of 15 ETH to 10.8 and more BDAOs, right? That means people were selling and BDAO went down in price as well, which reflects this not being 10K, but 7,480, and me giving them my ETH that I provided in the liquidity pool for their BDAOs. However, let's say BDAO starts to trend up and the price goes up, you know, whatever the team is doing their thing, and, you know, milestones are being met, and we see that token valuation going up. That's where you start to make even more money, and your overall liquidity increases as well. And conversely, if we check out the Ethereum Uni text ID where I added liquidity